Welcome back. I'm just back from my holiday with my friends Gary and Carrie, and we had a great time at Backcountry Provincial Park, which makes me think about, a lot of you guys may be wondering what kind of camping experience do I want this summer? Do I want to experience provincial, national, state parks, or do I want to do some backcountry things? So today I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of camping in a park versus camping in the backcountry. And today I have a trip here to Fitzroy Park, just on the Ottawa River. I'm just checking out this trail, the Terraces Trail. It should be beautiful. So we'll go do that and chat about what the pros and cons are of different camping experiences. And Royce is here with me today. He's recovering from a leg injury. He hurt himself on a trail at Bon Echo. He banged his leg and was really laid up for the last week. So this is his first hike since that last one we did with Gary that you saw in his video. Go check out those videos at Bon Echo on Gary's channel. I put the links on my my Facebook page for TheWildYam. So go check those out. I'll probably put them down below in the comments as well. So this should be really cool. It's about an hour stroll through forests and cliffs. So this should be neat. Hopefully we'll see some interesting wildlife. You can definitely see there's quite the difference in the elevations around here. And right now we're kind of heading on the upper end of things. I just drove past the park store. So let's go check it out. Well, this is a little different than Bon Echo. We have some wood chips to walk on. Luxury. So yeah, one of the benefits of coming into one of these parks is they're kind of a protected park here in Canada. So you can explore, and there's lots of activities for you to do here. Let's talk about my outfit of the day. As you can see, I am wearing my Columbia Omni Shield shirt. It's super light. I'm also wearing North Face pants, very light. There's lots of ticks around here, so I want to be able to see them. And this Omni Shade shirt is amazing. It also protects me from the UV. There is UV even though it's cloudy outside, so I want to protect my skin. Don't want to get skin cancer. So good to wear this. The sleeves roll up. And it's super cool, breathable, and it dries really fast. Both these things I got at Cabela's. And the other thing I got at Cabela's, my shoes for the day, which are my Crocs in sport mode. So they were on sale. Couldn't resist picking them up. They're actually super comfortable. Don't know why I'm wearing them on a hike, but as you can see, this terrain isn't that dodgy. So we're just going on an easy stroll today. So that's my outfit. And of course, nod to Justin Barber. I've got his hat there supporting his journey in the backcountry, which he'll be doing over the next year. So it's really awesome. So take a look behind me. This is not too far in on the trail. It's beautiful. Types of rocks you might see on this trail are red and green shale and some boulders. So I think this is going to be great. The roots right there. That little wee waterfall. Hope he doesn't get any ideas of climbing up there. So as you can see, we are climbing up. And he's doing pretty well on that leg. He's on 3 legs there for a couple of days. I was really worried about him. So the pros of camping at provincial, state, national, federal parks. Well, it's really neat because they, it's really easy. You can just drive up, you have a beautiful campsite, you have a fire pit, usually a really nice flat area to put your tent or your trailer. And quite often in parks they have water that you can drink that's safe. So that's really, really handy and convenient. Bon Echo was great, very private sites, and a nice little spot to tuck away. We had a tent and a trailer, so that was really great. Quite often as well here, they don't want you hacking down the trees for firewood. So there is an area where you can get firewood, albeit you have to pay for it, but that's okay. And there was also lots of beautiful, hiking and programs that can occur at these parks. So you can have a guide take you around, or, while we were at Bon Echo, there was people teaching people how to fish. So people from the ministry came down with the trailer and free fishing rods and things like that and explained how to fish. So if you're like a new Canadian or new to the country, not familiar with fishing in the region, you can go to these little classes that they have, and they'll usually have a bulletin board up by the main park store or little bulletin boards around the park to tell you when those activities are occurring. So that's really cool. All these parks have historical significance. So you'll learn a lot about the region. Some of these regions around here were heavily logged. So you'll walk along the trail, and quite often there's little plaques that tell you what you're looking at and what things would have been like many years ago, as well as Indigenous history in this region, which is very rich. And I certainly love swimming, and a lot of these parks have beaches. Some of them have lifeguards, some of them don't. And so you can go swimming. And of course, if you forgot something, well, by all means, you can go to the park store and get what you need, or get an ice cream on a hot day. I smell a very bad smell. I wonder if something died, like a deer or something back in the bush there. It is horrible. I can't seem to escape it. Look over here. One of my favorite things of looking around parks. Mushrooms. So look in here. We've got some chanterelle buttons. Oh my god, so exciting. Some parks allow you to pick the fungi in there and others do not. So Algonquin Park, I believe it's a provincial park, you can pick. Other places you can't. So just keep that in mind. One of the maybe the downfalls that some people may see, a con of camping and hanging out in these provincial and federal and national parks, is there's quite a bit of rules, right? And there's a lot of regulations around, like drinking. You can only have it at your campsite. You have to keep quiet after 10 o'clock at night. There are fines, obviously, for these things, so that everybody can kind of enjoy the park. But some people may not like that, might not like the rules, so maybe park camping is not for you. Also, there's lots of people around, so if you want peace and solitude, don't want to interact with a lot of people, parks generally pretty busy in the summer, maybe not so in the winter months, but you may get a little irritated if people are really loud at night, or you're running into lots of people on the trail, or running into lots of evidence of people, like little florets in the woods, if you know what I'm talking about, and garbage from places like that. So if you don't like running into those kind of things, or running into a lot of people, park camping, really not for you. Some parks here in Ontario allow you to camp year-round. Frontenac Park, you can camp in the winter, and Algonquin, they do have some areas that you can camp in the wintertime. So if you're into all-season camping with some safety measures in place, parks camping is right for you. And generally, parks camping requires a lower level of skill when it comes to camping. So you can always get in the car and drive away, or get help easily, or drive to the grocery store. Oh man, look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's a great year for mushrooms this year. Lots in here. Some of them a little moth-eaten, but chanterelles are looking good. Earlier I mentioned little florets in the woods, and if you know what that means people go to the bathroom in the woods and don't cover up their mess and deal with it properly. Provincial parks are nice in that a lot of them have outhouses and flush toilets, laundromats, things like that, so you're not really roughing it that bad. When you're in the backcountry, obviously, you have to make your own latrines and deal with your waste properly. So that's a little bit about park camping, and I do have a day pass for Ontario parks, which is great. You can also get a pass for national parks as well, so you can just kind of drive in and enjoy. But did you know that in some areas, your doctor can actually prescribe you nature therapy and get you a park's day pass? Check it out if it applies to your region. Oh, yay! It is a lobster mushroom. Look at that. It's disgusting, though. But that is a parasitized rusula mushroom. They have a fish-like taste, really delicious. But let's not eat that one. It's kind of nasty. I did not anticipate this turning into a mushroom foraging video for you guys, but I can't help myself. Ooh, there's another one in here, too. Oh, darn. I'm like a week too late. So there you go. Look at that. Too bad it's disgusting, but that's what it looks like. I'm in a little bit of more open area, and this is wild bergamot. If you haven't seen my video on how to make a bergamot oxymel, you should. It's very good for soothing the respiratory tract, and here we go. There's the wild version of bergamot. So let's talk backcountry. So backcountry is where you don't really have a whole lot of services. You hike or paddle, or or a plane drops you off somewhere and you go and set up a campsite. Some of those places some have setups, some have like little rudimentary fire pit or little location where a lot of people hang out. Others, you're bushwhacking it through stuff like this to create your campsite. So that can be really, really attractive for lots of people. A lot more bugs in the backcountry sites, and it does require a certain level of skill. A little bit more, obviously, than just camping at a campground, because you may have to get your own firewood, you may have to navigate through some pretty difficult terrain, and if you end up in a bad situation, you'll have to get yourself out. It's not like you can just get in the car and drive away. So that's some of the things to consider. And quite often you are backpacking in or canoeing in. You're not driving up to your sites. You really have to have your trip planning on point, so you don't bring way too many things that you won't need. You need to bring just what you need for the trip, and none of the extra bells and whistles. And if you forget something or food, you won't have a park store to go and get it at. Pros, of course, are not a lot of people, and you can explore areas where people may not have ever explored before, or explored hundreds of years ago, or 50 years ago or something like that. So that is pretty attractive, and you may actually get more wildlife encounters in the backcountry than you definitely would get in the front country, especially if you go to some pretty remote places, like Justin Barber's going right now. You won't have trouble catching a fish at all. You may have some moose and bear encounters. If you're not comfortable with that, then I would avoid the backcountry. And the backcountry may have seasonal limitations. You may not be able to get there in the wintertime, or may not be advisable for you to travel through that region in the wintertime, whereas, provincial parks, national parks, state parks, they may have provisions for you to stay quite comfortably all seasons. So really important to plan your trip if you're doing backcountry, to consider what type of year you're going to be going and how difficult is that going to be for you to get into those regions. So my preference, of course, is backcountry. As you guys know, I've done a lot of that kind of stuff. It is really, really fun. If you go for a few days, a week, 2 weeks, or longer, like a year, like Justin Barber, just go to your tolerance, start small and work your way up, and make sure you have a safety plan in place if you're trying something like this for the first time. Don't forget, poison ivy is out. It's on the trail. Watch your feet and your legs. And here's a favorite of mine, nice surprise, a hedgehog mushroom, very tasty, pan-fried with onions and garlic. This is a beautiful find. This is a Lectarius indigo. This has latex in it that turns blue. You usually see it in the pine needle duff. And it's right next to a bunch of button hedgehogs. Great find. Yeah, and if you just break the cap, you can see the blue latex. This is a very unique mushroom, one of my favorites. And I've just found the deadliest mushroom, one of the deadliest mushrooms here in Ontario, and that is the Amanita mushroom. This is lethal when eaten. Be really safe. And after a hot hike here, Royce and I have found the water. This is a beautiful little river in the park. It's got some rapids, nice and cool. Well, thanks so much for joining me today. I found a nice cool river after that hot hike. What kind of camps do you like? Do you like going to national, state, provincial parks? Or are you more of a backcountry person? Let me know down below in the comments. You guys have a great week as always. Take care.